Back in 2019, I made a video called What is Captain America's Endgame? In which I used the character arcs from the first season of True Detective to determine that the only thing for Steve Rogers to do is get zapped back into the past to live out his life with Peggy and pass the mantle on in the present as Old Man Steve. No, really. So it would make sense to me that rather than getting what he thinks he wants to fall on his sword, he gets given a cathartic second chance. It's been a given for so long that Steve Rogers has had to give up the idea of wanting a normal life, a family, the things he wanted in his old life. So what if at the end, rather than sacrificing himself, he gets rewarded? Through a trip into the quantum realm or through the use of the time stone or some other means, Steve ends up back in the 1940s just in time to have his dance with Peggy. The war is over for both of them. And then maybe in a similar way to the Ponds in Doctor Who, Steve lives out his remaining days in the past, unable to return to the modern day, but content and finally happy. I was pretty pleased that I managed to guesstimate Cap's Endgame, and a couple of you said I could brag about this, so here's some viewer-sanctioned bragging. Woohoo! I got it right! Cut to me sitting in the cinema watching Avengers Endgame at the Waterloo IMAX on opening night. I have to say, I was a very happy bunny. It wasn't just the ending I loved in Cap's Endgame, I loved virtually every creative choice that was made involving his story in the movie. We got pissed off son of a bitch swearing Cap in that sweet Winter Soldier uniform one more time. We saw him running a support group for people dealing with the aftermath of the snap, the perfect thing Cap could be doing post Infinity War, and a clear example that the driving forces behind the movie understand the character. We got to see him fail again. We had to see him move on and face his failings and missed opportunities, literally. This was the moment where Cap sealed the karmic payoff of going back to Peggy at the end of the movie. He had a chance to drop it all and let Tony go back to the present to deal with whatever would be left. But he didn't. The only thing he wanted, and he did the right thing instead. After giving up so much for everyone else, Cap finally earns the right to do something for him. It is a selfish act to stay in the past, but he has suffered and fought hard. His best was enough, and he's already given it. The new guard are more than equipped to take care of it. I think saving the universe more than grants you the time to rest. It was the perfect ending for Cap, and it was the perfect decision from the team at Marvel. But you know what the most incredible thing about Old Man Steve Rogers is? At 90, he still has a full head of hair. Look at those luscious locks, the hairline intact, the Silver Fox vibes reaching a fever pitch, and it turns out the folks at Keeps can have you looking like Old Man Rogers with their revolutionary treatment for hair loss. 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35. Now I don't know about you, but as a young man in my 20s, I like to occasionally take a sneak peek just to make sure it's not creeping back at all. It's the same. But if the day comes where my hairline decides to plan the big move, then it's best to do something whilst you still have hair left. And it turns out you don't have to go broke to avoid going bald. Usually you'd need to go to the doctor for hair loss prescriptions, but Keeps allows you to see a doctor online and get your medication delivered on schedule every 3 months, so you don't ever have to see a pharmacist. No more trying weird old remedies. No more weird remedies or old wives' tales. Keeps is one of only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products on the market, so you know you're getting quality. Keeps treatments average between 4 and 6 months for results. Prevention is the key, and it's important to act fast. And plus now the time you spent worrying about your hairline can be used for more productive things, like worrying about the lines in your forehead. Did I remember to lock the car? Am I wearing pants? There's no shame in aging gracefully. I mean, just look at Jason Statham, Patrick Stewart. But if you want to keep a full head of hair like me, then consider giving Keeps a go. Go to keeps.com/fullfatvideos or click the link in the description to receive 50% off your first order. That's keeps.com/fullfatvideos. As I said, this was exactly what I think Cap needed to honour his arc in not only the Russo-made Marvel movies, but every single appearance in his run. It bookends perfectly with the First Avenger, it makes sense for the man shaped by the events of Winter Soldier and Civil War, it makes sense for a man that stood against Thanos and his entire army with nothing left to lose, willing to risk it all and make the ultimate sacrifice. Now with those kind, old, tired eyes, he is a man out of time no more. Except now the Compute Global Hyper Meganet is reporting that Chris Evans is close to signing a new deal with Marvel Studios to come back in at least one film, maybe two.
Yes! That was perfect.
This did the rounds on entertainment news websites before Chris Evans thankfully tweeted, "News to me," which can only mean that he didn't know I'm uploading video reviews of every episode of WandaVision on the Full Fat Podcast YouTube channel. Either that or it meant that all this news about Cap coming back was bullshit. I'm very thankful for that because in the brief few hours where this felt like it was going to be true, I felt really disappointed. Captain America was my favourite character in the entire MCU. I've loved watching the character, loved talking about it on here in a myriad of different videos, loved all of it. Wouldn't change it. Those will be some cinema memories for sure. But it's done now. I think there's plenty of ways you could bring back Captain America, sure. You could tell a one-act play between him and Red Skull, as screenwriter Christopher Marcus puts it. Hell, you could just go through his entire cosmic adventure. Captain America through space and time, returning the Infinity Stones, meeting Red Skull's cosmic powers with the force of the mighty Mjolnir. Or you could bring him back in the present as Old Cap. I'm not convinced we won't have some allusion to Old Man Steve Rogers in the upcoming Falcon Winter Soldier series. How is Anthony Mackie's Cap going to get his super soldier powers? Well, if Cap made a couple of secret steps on his time travel journey and acquired some spare serum from Erskine's laboratory before it blew up, have it hidden behind a secret door in Cap's museum for only Sam Wilson to discover. Have some fun with it. There's a lot of ways you could bring Cap back. He's not like Tony, we haven't seen him die, and there's a clear gap for stories to be told. I think there's plenty of ways you could bring back Captain America, sure.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
But in terms of any cinematic appearance, the neat little bow that was tied up at the end of Avengers Endgame must not be unwrapped. When an actor has played a superhero for long enough, there needs to be some kind of fanfare for their final stint as the character. It doesn't always happen, and many characters have been left by the wayside in the genre without a proper ending. It's a shame. So when it does happen, that rare thing where an actor embodies the character perfectly and goes on a journey with them across multiple movies, coming to a satisfying conclusion, the weight of that time coming to a close becomes a key ingredient. When Old Man Steve Rogers told Sam that his life had been beautiful, with that happy smile on his face, it came attached with the knowledge that Chris Evans was leaving the role. We know definitively that this is it, so there's a lot of trepidation about the creators sticking the landing. No one wants Wolverine's last movie, or Batman's last movie, or Iron Man's last movie to suck. That would leave a sore taste in the mouth from otherwise enchanting runs. Chris Evans got the perfect send-off as a performer, involved in these films as much as Steve got a send-off in the world of the movie. Having him return now, in 2 years, in 10 years, it risks opening the Ark of the Covenant, you know? It's going to undo the perfect little ending we already got. I know a lot of people like El Camino, and I'm in the minority on this, but I just found it so redundant. Watching Jesse scream with joy when he's finally free at the end of Breaking Bad was the perfect ending I needed, Jesse needed, and Aaron Paul needed. Great job everyone, audience and character, maximum satisfaction. But then you go and spoil it all by making El Camino, which doesn't add anything meaningful enough to warrant creating what is essentially an extra episode of the series. Jesse finishes it in pretty much the exact same place he was at the end of the special. He's free. I didn't need to know how he got across the border. Who cares? This is what really matters. This is where it ends. It's the exact same feeling to me as this.
No, I don't think I will.
Don't ruin Captain America's Endgame. Don't bring back Cap. Chris Evans got that rare thing only the likes of the Jackmans and Downey Jr.'s have accomplished. He stuck the landing. He's taken the character everywhere his story could conceivably go, and he's challenged himself with the role about as much as he can. Nothing would be gained by going backwards on his career. It would feel like a safe direction. Speaking of direction, Evans has expressed a desire to do more directing, so in that case, I'd rather see him come back to direct an MCU movie a million years before I want to see him be in one again. If you need further proof of the closure provided by Endgame, then look to the pages of Empire Magazine's special issue with Edgar Wright and hear what Chris Evans had to say about the emotional payoff provided by the audience at the premiere. The first time I saw Endgame was at the premiere. Normally I see the films I work on well in advance, and I rarely sit through premieres. But being the last instalment of a 10-year journey, I wanted to experience this final film the same way the audience would. When Cap lifts Mjolnir, our theatre went absolutely berserk. Even though I knew the moment was coming, I still got emotional. In the following weeks, friends and family would send me clips from theatres around the world losing their collective shit at this moment. Seeing those reactions, and knowing that I was lucky enough to be a part of those memories for those people, made me feel a sense of pride and gratitude that I'll never be able to properly express. In those moments, I'm not an actor, or even an adult. I'm a little kid again, completely captivated by the power and magic that movies can wield. Damn it, I'm getting choked up. And I'm getting choked up just reading it, Chris. That was beautiful. Ultimately, I hope we see him in more roles like Knives Out that invert what we've come to know and expect from the Bostonian Human Torch. In terms of Cap, the only way the role could be made fresh and interesting is with someone new. So instead, look forward to watching Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson take up the mantle in his own buddy cop series with none other than the Winter Soldier. I got a good feeling about this. It makes perfect sense for Sam to become the next captain. It makes perfect sense for Bucky to be the partner to Cap, no matter who takes up the shield. I'm excited. It's gonna be good. If you saw about no Bucky Cap, well, take a look at this. Sam's got red and white, and Buck's got blue. Get it? You ever learn about mise-en-scene in media studies, eh? Red, white, and blue, like America, like Captain America. That's these two together make Captain America because of the colours, mise-en-scène, right? Look, what I'm trying to say is Cap's not even gone anyway. We have a new captain alongside his old Buck, and it's going to be fresh and exciting and new. It would muddy the waters of the story to have Chris Evans be Cap at the same time that Sam Wilson is Cap. Yes, I know the comics have done it. Comics and movies are different, John. They give awards for movies.
They give awards for
Comics too. Stephen Moffat really eloquently sums up my thoughts on the matter. In an interview to hype up the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who, the TV minisode Night of the Doctor was discussed. For those of you that don't know, this brought back retired Dr. Paul McGann for a one-off story in the era of the 11th and current Doctor. Moffat was asked if McGann's return might invite the possibility of an 8th Doctor spin-off series to run concurrently alongside the 11th Doctor's ongoing mainline series. To this, Moffat said,
"Well, I would be very worried about having two doctors sharing the lunchbox. How does that work? Which of them is more important than the other? Which is the junior doctor, which is the senior doctor? I'm not sure that works."
And I think he's absolutely right. Which Cap is supposed to be the superior Cap on the lunchbox? Which Cap is supposed to be the proper Cap? Which Cap is the understudy? You can even see this in motion over at Warner Brothers. They're going ahead with two, technically three Batmen. The Snyderian Ben Affleck is coming back in a revamped Justice League, as well as the Flash movie that will also be co-opted by the Burtonian Michael Keaton, and then in a completely separate universe there's going to be the Pattinson. People already hate on Pattinson, just as they did on Affleck, just as they probably did to Bale. I don't know, because back then he was Batman on my lunchbox. He was just Batman before I was aware people on the internet had opinions and could complain about things. Specifically Batman. Like I'm doing right now! We've already got enough media without two Doctors, two Caps, and three Batmen running around at the same time. The incarnation should be defined by the era, not by what they're running alongside. We are now in the era of the second Cap of the MCU. This is Sam Wilson's time, and the series has been gearing up to this moment from the very beginning. The character of the Falcon has just gone from strength to strength in the series. When he was first announced for Winter Soldier, I thought, that guy from the Hurt Locker? Great. Who is he playing? The guy that has a wingsuit and tights and talks to birds. Okay. I wasn't overly hyped, and then I heard the Russos were crafting him with more inspiration from the Ultimate Run, and that the MO was to make him a human fighter jet. I thought, okay, that's a cool freaking idea, but then it seemed redundant in a universe where Iron Man, War Machine, and eventually the Vulture exist. Who needs a guy with an exposed body zipping around when there's Iron Men and killer robots on the loose? Of course, I was 100% wrong.
Man, shut the hell up.
The Winter Soldier was the start of a beautiful new friendship. Sam Wilson came into Cap's life at a time when he really needed someone to trust. In many ways, he fills the void that Bucky left, making it all the more fun to see Steve's boys have a tiff. Against all the odds, the Russos and Mackie had made the Falcon cool. He was funny.
Did you write that down first? Or was it off the top of your head?
He had those cool taxi driver-esque machine guns that would launch into his hands. He had a revamped militaristic costume that indeed made him look like a fighter jet, plus his action scenes never felt Iron Man light. He moved in his own way, and the character was markedly more agile. And it turns out, wingsuit or not, this guy was just a blast to watch on screen. Mackie's charisma shines through in every Sam Wilson scene, and this dynamic was the best new addition to Cap's ongoing story.
Hey Cap, how do we know the good guys from the bad guys? If they're shooting at you, they're bad.
He was right at home alongside both Cap and Widow, and honestly their trio dynamic was something I could have done a whole other movie of before the Infinity Wars. It's here in this movie that Sam proves, right from the off, that he has the humility to be Cap.
Don't look at me. I do what he does, just slower.
Sam Wilson is happy to stand by Cap's side as a fledgling superhero based on the trust they have formed, and he takes his ego out of the room. Maybe he is right, the Falcon is comparatively slower than Cap at the start, but that's why it's going to be all the more awesome to see him step up. His abilities have only gotten more diverse and effective. Once just a wingsuit, now Sam can use his wings as a shield, a pair of stabbing weapons, and for an acrobatic advantage in combat. He's got rockets, a red wing, and proves in Civil War and Infinity War that he has the combat chops as he successfully evades and battles Iron Man, Proxima Midnight, and even Thanos. For about 2 seconds, but still, the lad has come a long way from this. After serving with Cap as a wanted man, proving his loyalty in even the most dire straits, after defending the universe to the very end, after being the first voice Cap hears when all seems lost.
On your left.
Sam Wilson has more than shown he has the spirit to take up the mantle of Cap. The final scene of Endgame was perfect for Steve.
That's why it's yours.
But it was also perfect for Sam too. I'm excited to see why the legacy of the shield is complicated, what that means for Sam specifically, and where that notion will drive his character. According to Kevin Feige, Disney Plus is going to give us this opportunity to tell even deeper stories on characters you already know and love, in a new type of cinematic way that we haven't done before, and I think that sounds perfect for a character who has been such a fantastic supporting player for so many years. Like Wanda and Vision, it's time for Cap 2.0 and Bucky to be at the centre of an MCU tale. Leave the First Avenger where he belongs, in the past.
Dodge this.
I've collaborated with Amazon Prime Video UK for a third time, but instead of videos on The Boys, which you can find at the relevant links in the description, I'll be talking about The Matrix, Fleabag and Mr. Robot. How The Matrix created iconic action takes a look at the who, what and how behind the fight choreography of the sci-fi classic. The opportune moment where we can really feel it. That's out now on the Amazon Prime Video UK YouTube channel, and this coming Friday I'll be delving into Fleabag and how the show deals with higher powers, time, and the viewer's part to play in all of it. I'd really appreciate it if you checked them out, and if you enjoy them, please consider giving them a like and a comment. If you didn't catch my subtle plug earlier, then also don't forget to check out the reviews for WandaVision on the Full Fat Podcast YouTube channel. We'll be reviewing them week to week before diving straight into Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so please get on over there, hit subscribe, and most importantly, hit that notification bell. Your viewership is the easiest way to support me and help me continue to make more content. So thank you. Hi guys, Matt here. Thank you for watching another full fat video. Don't forget to click that subscribe button and hit the bell so you know when a new video drops. If you'd like to get in touch with me, why not follow me on Twitter at fullfatvideos or on Instagram at full_fat_videos. A big personal thank you to our full fat tier patrons, Dr. Chike, Jax Merrick and Cyrus Solker. Your ongoing support keeps the lights on. Until next time, keep it full fat.